a recent Freedom of Information disclosure has revealed a state-enabled safeguarding failure. Okay, get your heads around this. Freedom of Information disclosures from the city of Wolverhampton show that in just 3 months, no less than 17 allegations of sexual assault or rape were recorded involving Wolverhampton licensed private hire drivers. 17! And guess what? Not one of those alleged attacks happened in Wolverhampton. All of them happened in other boroughs: Birmingham, Bradford, Luton, Coventry, Nottingham, Hull, Walsall, Portsmouth, Derby, Leicester, places where vehicles were operating, but the licensing authority had no presence, no practical control, and no meaningful safeguarding role. Not only that, but the sharing of information between local authorities and the police is an absolute shambles. Just take a look at this.
It isn't. Common law police disclosure does not work. The interpretation of pressing social need from the Supreme Court decisions down makes it incredibly difficult for the police to make a decision on information sharing. For example, a driver arrested for rape on a Friday night. By Monday morning, the police say that is no longer a pressing social need. That is absurd. There has to be statutory rules to overcome the difficulties that the decisions within the court systems have placed on the police. In addition, when a new application for a driver is made, there should be statutory consultation with the police, not simply the DBS. And the police should be mandated to share information when somebody is arrested who is a licensee. Simple question: when you're arrested, do you hold a taxi licence of any sort? Yes. If so, issued by whom? And that information is then passed on to the licensing authority. That does not happen. It happens in a minority, and I mean 4 or 5% minority of cases. But the Institute has a great deal of information, of examples where information has not been forthcoming from the police, sometimes obtained months later, sometimes comes out at an appeal, and that person has been driving or licensed in the meantime. And it's simply not good.
Now, this is what happens when you effectively have a national private hire market, but regulation is trapped inside municipal boundaries. Responsibility is fragmented, risk is exported, and victims fall between authorities whilst politicians just waffle on.
There are discussions in government about the legislative programme for the second session of Parliament, and this is something that we are committed to doing. We will close these loopholes. We will raise standards, because there is nothing that is more important for this government than protecting the most vulnerable.
Okay. Let's be honest about this. This was always a political decision to allow councils to sell licences into areas they cannot effectively police, to allow platform expansion over public protection, and to tolerate a structure that now demonstrably enables serious harm. Even the Supreme Court has made the law clear. When the state knows a system foreseeably enables grave harm, failure to act becomes a breach. So the Department of Transport should now be put on notice. And every day this model remains in place, it is not oversight, it is institutional negligence. And the remedy is brutally simple. Immediate action is needed to end out-of-area licence shopping. But, and let me be absolutely clear, even the toughest national minimum standards will not fix this, simply because it leaves the core danger in place: cross-border hiring. And the government must legislate to shut it down. And in my opinion, the cleanest, safest solution is this: private hire vehicles and drivers must be prohibited from signalling their availability to operators when they are outside the area in which they are licensed. Anything short of that is just cosmetic. It preserves the same broken architecture and simply pretends that the cracks have been sealed. And let us also be honest with ourselves about what comes next. I guarantee the government will bottle it. Not because the problem is complicated, not because the evidence is unclear, but because for years ministers have have bowed to platform interests and treated public protection as an inconvenience. Like I said, the DfT should be put on notice. This is their moment to choose: protect the public or continue to protect big business interests. Either that, or it will remain a national operating system with no material safeguarding, and the government should shoulder the fallout.